You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jamie Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. This is my first show, and I feel like I have so much to share about relationships that I always said I could talk to a wall, so now I'm talking to a camera and whoever else is watching, and my friend Carrie here. So just want to get started and introduce my guest. This is Carrie Pollock.
Hi.
She is a mom. She is a life coach. She is a certified Reiki master and Akashic record reader. She also hosts lots of self-development workshops in the Brentwood and Santa Monica area. We're also friends, and we talk about relationships a lot, so why not share what we talk about? And I just wanted to also say that our love goes out to the people that are suffering from the fires. We're sending our love and our prayers. I wanted to let you know that if you have a question, to feel free to call 818-570-5085 to call in any type of question. I've been practicing psychotherapy for 18 years, and sometimes my clients are like, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle my question, and I'm always like, oh, there's nothing I haven't heard, and bring it on. So feel free, any question. Also, I wanted to say hello to my Noah boy, because he's watching, and eat your broccoli. If you're eating dinner right now, I think you are. And I just also wanted to introduce myself, because this is my first show, Jamie Bronstein. I've been practicing psychotherapy for 18 years, like I said. And just recently, I'd say over the past maybe 7 years, I really went into the relationship aspect of it. It's always been my passion. And it just brings me such joy to help people just change their lives and find love, or if they're in relationships, make them better. And if they're going through a divorce or a breakup, to heal and start new relationships. So here we are. I wanted to start off with a question that a lot of people, most of my clients at some point ask. And they come to me and they say, why haven't I found the one yet? And of course, there are lots of reasons. Maybe they haven't been at the right place at the right time or whatever, but I always start off with saying that it really comes down to unconditional love for yourself. Do you love yourself? And what they always say at the beginning is, well, yeah, I love myself. Most of them say that, But then we get into it, because it turns out most people, unless you've done this work, don't really love themselves.
It's so true. It's so true. And the purpose of a relationship is to magnify your human emotions, and and the more you're aware of yourself and who you are, it just brings more of what you want, and it's good to be clear on what you want. But this is my first time on the radio show as well.
Go, Carrie. Well, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is that it's really important to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we are authentic, we attract the guy that is going to be right for us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're out in the world and you're not being your authentic self, you're going to be attracting the wrong guy.
Yeah, and it's just not sustainable if you're not living your truth and living your values and being able to relate to someone, getting to really know yourself for who you are.
Yeah, and if you're you said not sustainable. I love that, because if you're in a relationship and you're not, it doesn't feel right, doesn't feel comfortable, you're not totally yourself, yes, yeah, of course, it could last forever because you could survive, but are you really going to be thriving in that relationship? And also, even before you get into the relationship, it's really about who am I? What do I want? What am I looking for? Like being really clear.
You have to be so clear on what you want, because you'll get what you want. It's just knowing that you're deserving of what you want, and really working on that part of your life, so you can have the person who would be best suited for you.
Totally. I mean, I remember dating, and dated a lot, and it makes so much sense now, looking back at the guys that I was attracting, you know, because they were, it's like I was putting that energy out there of someone who I didn't really feel like was me. And
it's a reflection, of how you feel about yourself, like who you're attracting. It's a direct mirror.
Totally. Like, I joke, like, I had the fun boyfriend, I had, like, the serious boyfriend, and it must have been, like, all these different phases I was going through. I was like, well, maybe at times I was, like, more serious or just wanted to, like, play more. And I think, like, as you're going through the whole dating fun times, it's kind of like you figure out, okay, well, I did this, I did like the only fun relationship, I did the only serious relationship, I did the whatever, and you kind of like put together, it's almost like through relationships you learn who you are also.
Oh yeah, relationships are there to teach us.
They are.
And to help us grow.
I love that you say that, because a lot of times after relationships, people just kind of like, they move on and they don't
haven't
really
learned the lesson.
Yes. And then they come to me. They're like, why do I keep going out with, like, I have this guy who, he's like, I don't understand. I keep attracting the same girl. And I was like, that's because we haven't changed anything.
It's the mommy or the daddy issue that you haven't resolved.
Or what? Yeah, or whatever it is.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Yeah, like, they just, it's like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's broken, fix it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's that quote, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you think you're going to get a different result.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result.
Absolutely. And I think that's what most people do.
Yeah.
Like, they keep getting into the same cycle. And I'd say, so as a therapist, my clients come in, I keep attracting the same type of relationship over and over, and I say to them, okay, well, let's figure out how we can stop doing that, and we figure out what the issues are to avoid
how to break that pattern, which is so hard to do.
Yeah, or else it's just going to keep happening over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you remember when you were dating? Like, do you have any funny stories or how you, like, broke your pattern? Or
I mean, we learn and grow every day, and I mean, again, the more you become who you are and the more you respect yourself, the more you will put that out there. And I guess a story that I usually, one of my very close friends, she really, the more you work on yourself, the more it's possible. I mean, I really feel like you have to really take the time to, you have to take care of yourself and have self-care. I mean, I meditate, nature walks, and you just have to become clear. You get more clear the more you work on yourself. I mean, you yourself, you went to USM, that is amazing.
Thank you.
And it's just amazing how, like, the more we learn, the more we grow, and the more we get to the point where we can't tolerate anything that takes us away from who we are, because we are the energy we put out in the world.
I love that you just brought up meditation, nature walks, etc., because it's when we get quiet, you know, in the stillness, we take away all of the outside jibber jabber.
Mm-hmm.
That's really when we do find out who we are. And that is how we get past those barriers that are preventing us from accessing who we really are.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I work on that myself because I'm do. Don't sit still for a minute, and I know that the best way you become clear is to really, you know, sit and listen to yourself and watch your habits and really pay attention.
I was actually just reading, there's this book by Robert Holden, highly recommend it, called Authentic Success. And he talks about that people that are busy, it's actually kind of like a defense mechanism, you know?
They're
like,
running from themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm too busy to stop. I'm too busy. And it's also like this, there's an inauthenticness to that. It's like, I'm too busy, I'm too cool, or, you know, whatever.
But deep inside, I think there's an unworthiness, you
Yes.
know, because you're just running from yourself.
Yeah. And when, like, it's like, please tell all of those people to come to my office, because I want to say, let's just stop. Let's take a moment. Let's see what's not working in our lives, you know, and also it's almost like that success, whether it's success in your relationship or success in work or whatever, you know, what Robert Holden talks about is that, like, it's like that's not even authentic success, because you're not authentically showing up
For yourself.
as you, because you don't know
Who
you.
are. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you can't be authentic and be busy.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that it's a different type. Like, when you are totally in, you know, centered and in yourself, and you're totally being authentic with all of your relationships, it just shows up differently.
Mm-hmm. Just, you know, always try and come from a place of love and bring that energy in, because it you know, it feels so good, you know, just for yourself too, and you uplift people and make people feel, you know, comfortable, and, you know, I love putting that energy out there.
You do. And you do you were telling me about how you kind of got up and did like a coaching thing or something. You were just telling me about that. How you got up and like did some, Unplugged asked you to like do something.
Oh yeah. I did a workshop there, and I was so afraid to do it because I really don't like speaking, as you probably can tell.
Good job.
And then when we talked about doing this, I'm like, I can't play small. I've got to do this.
Yes, and we
Get over my fears.
Yes, and yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
How, because you just had an Akashic reading or something where, well, you can tell us what they said. Where they said that, like, you need to start talking or something. You need to speak.
Yeah, I need to speak. It's so comfortable for me to host events and rather than, you know, and hide behind and not speak the truth of who I am. So that's why I'm here.
And then I called you up and I was like, hey, I want to do this radio show. And
I'm like, it's time.
Right.
I'm not going to say no.
Well, I love that you wrote right back and you're like, yes. And I was like, oh, thank God. Awesome. But then when you told me the story that it's kind of like this series of events. And then all of a
because
sudden,
I've had like 10 Akashic record readers, and they all, you know, tell me, you've got to speak, you know. And I'm like, what? Why?
it's good. When you have things to share,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to share them.
Yeah.
So I made some notes down here. Let's see. Just about other things to talk about. So I wrote about how in relationships and when you're dating, it's important to be open and honest with your communication. Because so many people, you know, they go on dates and they're like, oh my God, I totally screwed up because it's like I wanted to say something but I didn't. Or in relationships, they're like, that just was not a good situation last night with my boyfriend. And hold that thought. I'm just going to answer this call. We have our first caller. Caller? Hello?
Hi, hello.
Oh, hi. Who's this?
This is Meredith. I'm calling from New York.
Meredith, can you hold on one sec?
Sure.
This is so exciting. We got a caller. Anyhow, just so Meredith, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Feel free to, Carrie says hi. Feel free to listen to the end of this conversation. We're talking about having open, honest communication, and I really hope that your question is not about this, but if it is, then we're already answering your question. But anyhow, we were just talking about how that if you're single and you're dating and just whatever, and you're not able to say what you want to say, that can be really frustrating. And the same thing if you're in a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, speaking the truth of who you are, if you don't, it's unhealthy. You know, it's just what happens to your body and all the things that manifest when you're not really feeling free, to be honest, and you're wasting time.
Yeah, I mean, I see that all the time. People come in and they have like some kind of injury or health issue, and I've learned definitely that it's, 99%, it's something else, whether it's stress induced or you're not speaking your truth, you're not living your truth. And being in a toxic relationship or even just a relationship where you're just not happy for whatever reason, it definitely can tears away your soul, kind of.
Yeah, you got to find an amazing coach like Jamie.
Thank you, Carrie Pollack.
To break through those barriers.
Break on through to the other side. So Meredith from New York.
Yes.
You don't, it sounds like you don't have a New York accent.
Well, New York's by the way of the Midwest, and you can't really get rid of a Midwest accent, unfortunately. So.
Okay, I have a Midwest accent. There's nothing wrong with it. Chicago.
Right? It's like right? Chicago is a great place to, be from too. So.
So, what is your question, Meredith from New York with no accent? Well, no New York accent.
My question sort of ties into that, but for people who maybe feel like they do have open and good communication, what are some just like daily things that people in happy relationships can do to just enhance that communication? Maybe like little tips and tricks or routines to get into, or just anything that you think is really good for keeping that line of communication open.
I love this question, and I feel like this is something that couples don't do enough on. It doesn't have to be daily, but maybe even just weekly, like check in with your partner and just be like, how are you doing? Or if you make it like you have a Sunday dinner or something like that. Do you feel like you guys, like how often do you feel like, well, first of all, tell me about, are you married, or tell me about what your situation is?
I have been married for 3 years, but I've been with my husband for 9, and I feel like, we're pretty good at communicating, but we also work together, and sometimes I think when we're trying to like achieve the same goal, we'll kind of have a different plan in our head of what we think is like the obvious way to do it. Like there's no other way this could be done. But really, there's a million ways to do everything, so we don't really communicate what we're thinking always. We kind of just assume the other one's on the same page. So sometimes, working together and just kind of saying, thinking out loud what you're communicating what you're thinking instead of just assuming what the other one's thinking, I guess.
Do you feel like you guys, like when you communicate, do you feel like you completely listen to each other?
Sometimes no. Sometimes I think we're just, kind of.
Are you like waiting for the other person?
Our plan, you know what I'm saying? Like we're just, it can be simple things too. Like where do you want to go for lunch? Maybe I'm thinking, we're going to have like a sit down situation. He's thinking we're just going to grab a sandwich, but we don't really talk about that. So then there's just like confusion that sometimes occurs.
So basically you want each other to be psychic, first of all.
Yeah, I guess so. That would be nice.
So you want your husband to read your mind, which would be amazeballs if our husbands actually could read our minds. But on on a serious note, whether it's in conflict or not, or over a sandwich, I always believe that if you can really, really listen to each other, like really listen, be really present, not be waiting, to respond with your agenda, or what you're going to say, or why they're wrong, or why you're right, or whatever, but just to really be present and to really listen and then to respond, and also to truly try to understand the other person and not judge them.
Yeah, learning to communicate communicate your values to someone else and really understand their values is just such a great way to communicate, But there's a Dr. John DeMartini, who I've hosted before. He's amazing, and he has this his valuation, and there's on his website there's some questions so you can understand your values, understand your own values, and understand his values. And it's really amazing how sometimes we don't even know what our values are, and when we learn what they are and we learn to communicate with their values, it's really it can be just such a relief, because you just need to work at understanding each other, and the way the languages you speak.
Languages of love. Is that what you're saying? We're all saying love language.
Yeah.
So Meredith, do you feel like before we move on to the love languages, I just wanted to ask a question, because I work a lot with my clients on this concept where you don't have to actually, it's even okay if you don't actually understand each other, but if you listen and you validate what the other person is saying, then you feel heard. Mm-hmm. So Meredith, do you feel like that's a place that you guys, like an area you can work on, that stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Just listening, I think, is huge, so that's definitely helpful, and that website sounded pretty neat too, so I'm definitely going to check that out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Meredith, have you and your husband done the languages of love?
That's a good
Yes, we have. I read the book. Mine is the language of gift giving, which is not my husband's, but just all about, I think, understanding that it's okay to be different, to have different languages.
That's one of mine too.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard because I feel like it gets mistaken for being materialistic a little bit, but really it can be like something small. Like my husband made me a bracelet from a seashell from our honeymoon, and that was, didn't cost anything, but that those little things are really special to me.
I think it's being thoughtful, like knowing that someone took the time to be thoughtful and care for you.
Right.
Wait, and what is your husband's?
His name is Justin.
No, what is your husband's? You said yours was the gifts.
Oh, I think his was spending quality time, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Well, good. Meredith, do you have any other questions?
I think that's it for me. Yeah.
Okay, well.
It's been great talking with you, and thank you so much for your advice.
You are so welcome, and thanks for calling in.
Thanks, Meredith.
Okay.
Stay warm in New York.
I'll try. Thank you.
Okay, bye. So, getting on to another concept that I love talking about is the concept where you cannot be swayed by upset. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you're in a relationship, and if you are in your peace and you're in your loving, there's no way that you could ever get to the point where you say, I am upset because of something that you did. And I love talking about that with people, because people are always like, he did this to me, she did this to me, she's wrong, he's wrong. And it's really all about, it's a reflection of your unresolved issues inside, of why you get triggered by somebody.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, you know, it's amazing. I've been meditating like every day for 4 years.
Love it.
And I highly recommend it because you just are not reactive when you meditate. And it makes things, you know, it gives you more clarity, you know, and you're not like defensive, because who needs to be defensive?
Yeah, I feel like when people are defensive, it's almost like they know that, not that they're wrong, but like, it's like, let's just talk about what's really going on.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Exactly. Yeah.
And whether it's even this whole concept, if you're driving down the street and you have road rage, if you are in your peace, nothing can upset you. And like, what do I mean by being in your peace? Because people are probably like, how do I be in my peace? How do I find it? How do I do it? Definitely meditation. Definitely checking in with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, just checking in and kind of just being like, do I need to get upset by this?
Yeah, because it's only harmful to you. You know, it doesn't. Yeah, and
yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the long run. I mean, you know, you don't want to, you know, come from a place of love, and whatever means something to you. Like I love touching people. I love. I guess that's the Reiki master in me, and you know, if your partner's in a funky place and you're feeling like, you know, you want to step back, but you are, you know, somebody who likes to touch and make people feel comfortable, do it anyway. You know,
it's disarming.
Yeah. I mean, make somebody feel comfortable. You know, always make them feel comfortable. And you know, everybody's been through so much in their lives that it's always better to be kind.
Kindness. I always go on.
It's just like there's no point in, you know, in walking around and feeling rage and
negative energy.
I
always help people with, if they're going to approach somebody with, you know, in their relationship with like some kind of conflict, or this is how I'm feeling or whatever, to always start with, I love you. And I just want peace in this relationship. I just want it to work. So with that said, like, this is how I'm feeling, not this is what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, you're using I statements. I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling whatever.
Yeah, because you don't want somebody on the defensive, you know, because that's always
right. And even if somebody says, well, I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't mean to this. Of course you didn't, you know, but that doesn't matter. This is how I'm feeling. And getting back to what we were talking about before, can you just validate how I'm feeling? Let me see, is there anything else on this list that we want to talk about? Or I know you had a list, and I also have a surprise game, which I didn't even tell my guest about, but we're going to do a surprise game. So
let's do the game.
Okay.
How much time do we have?
We have about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
I hope everybody's having fun. And this is on Facebook Live, but I don't have a way of interacting, so I don't know if anybody has been making comments, but if anybody has, hello, and thank you for tuning in. So this game, I have not given it a name yet.
And I know nothing about it, so this is
She really doesn't. Spontaneous combustion game. So the game is going to be, we ask each other a question, but we don't know, we have not prepared, obviously, what our answer is going to be or whatever. So it's kind of like we'll just interview each other. And it can be about anything. So like, for instance, I'll start. So, what is something, and I like to, this is what I do like with my friends, family, with my clients, when I ask them a question, when I do something like this.
I'm kind of nervous
because I'm really silly. I like them to close their eyes.
Okay.
So that you don't even think about your answer, and then you answer. Okay, so what is something that you have never done but that you want to do, and think about your answer and then share it?
Oh my God. I want to go to Paris.
You've never been
I've
to
never
Paris.
been.
Oh my God. And that's the city of love.
Yeah.
It's very romantic there. So why haven't you been? It just hasn't happened.
It just hasn't happened.
Maybe because, I just got the chills. I literally just got the chills. Maybe Paris has been waiting for you for the right time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's amazing. And if you can go to Paris tomorrow, what would you do there? What do you want to see? Eiffel Tower.
Oh, everything.
And what is it about Paris that why do you want to go there?
Yeah, city of love, romance.
So that is why?
Yeah.
I love that, because some people would say like shopping or whatever. So that really is why you want to go?
Yeah.
Aw.
And I'll ask you a question.
Yes, I'm still on the, I think that's, you're like, can we get off of me? Wait, that is so sweet. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
And I can't really, can you send me a postcard when you go?
Yes, I will send you a postcard.
Okay, good. Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Do you want me to close my eyes?
Oh, you don't have to.
But I want to.
Okay, then you close
Okay.
your eyes.
Taking a sip of water. Okay.
Okay, what is one of your love languages?
That's good. Whoa, sorry. I would say that I definitely like cuddling. Do you want to go press that button?
Yeah.
Technical difficulty, 1 second. We have or just press the close button.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to get there with that.
Oh.
Wait, there
Sorry, can you reach, or?
No.
She has really long arms. Oh, no, just the close button at the top.
Close, okay. Oh, my God.
Sorry, technical difficulties, but we're all good.
There we go. Okay.
Wait, here.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh,
Technical
okay.
difficulties. Okay.
Let's see how I do
It's all good. If you're still tuning in and have not tuned out, we're back. Okay. So, I was going to say cuddling. That's definitely one of them. I have to say that when Brian and I first started dating, one of the things, and I remember I was talking to somebody about this, I don't remember who it was, but I remember feeling like I just love cuddling with him. Like, being in his arms felt good. Hold on, I have to move this. Sorry. Yeah, and that was something that I hadn't really thought about before. But it's like he brought it out of me. Not that I wasn't a cuddler before him, but it was like it validated and like emphasized that I love cuddling. Like, it brought me joy just to like sit on the couch with him and watch TV and like be like in his arms. And even when we have conflicts or whatever it is, or just a disagreement, nothing crazy, but I like if we hug at the end, it's like I love that feeling, being in his arms, like his like bare arms, not like bare arms, like not like naked arms, but you know, like bare arms.
So your love language is physical touch, right?
Yeah, and I like that you said like tell me one of them, because I think we're probably like stronger in certain ones than others. But definitely that would be a big one for me.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I like cuddling.
Yeah, and oh my God, and cuddling with my son, with Noah. He's 3, and oh my God, like just when it's that heart to heart, it's oxytocin. It just feels so good.
I would love to go back to those days.
How old are your kids? They're 20 something?
Yeah.
But you have a son, right?
Yes.
Do you ever just hug him so tightly. And then like, no, don't let go. Like, do you
Yeah, don't
ever,
like-
do you
I mean-
want to like elongate it?
Yes. I mean, you know, I adore both of my kids, but they're so busy. I mean, I see them and they're in LA, and but I would love for them to be 2 again, so I could just have more control.
Well, literally today, but then even at 2, it's like they just want to play all the time. So literally today, I was like, Noah, can I just have like a 30-second cuddle? Like just 30 seconds. And then I'm like, wait, he doesn't even know what 30 seconds is. So, and it probably seems like so long. So I was like, okay, 2 seconds. And he goes, 1 second. So I was like, okay, well, longer. So good.
Oh,
It's so delicious.
he's so adorable.
Well, thanks. Okay, my question for you. Close your eyes. I don't even know my question yet. But my question is, what is something that you have not accomplished in your life yet that you want to accomplish?
Public speaking. I've now somewhat accomplished. Yeah, I'm always.
You can die
afraid.
now. Okay.
I can die now.
Bucket list.
So yeah.
So that's something that, because you've always wanted to just like kind of share what you have to share. And
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm still scared.
you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you. You know, I don't know. I kind of get a little frozen and feel like I can't say everything I want to say, but I guess it'll get easier.
I love your peace. You have a very like peaceful energy.
Thank you.
That's good. It's nice to like balance because I'm like high energy girl.
No, I'm high energy. I'm always like, if I listen to my voice on something, I'm always like, hi. You know, it's like.
Yeah, I hope I haven't been talking too fast, but I probably have been.
No, you're doing great.
Oh, good. I love that you are like you're just stepping into your voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
You might have your own talk show someday. The Carrie Pollock Show. Can I be a
That'd
guest?
be great. Yeah.
And by the way, you're welcome to come back
Yeah.
to be
I want to.
a guest on this show again.
Definitely.
Okay, do you want to ask me one more question?
Okay, let me see. Okay. When did you know that you wanted to be the relationship expert?
When I popped out of my mama, pretty much.
Mhm.
Because I've always loved love, but not in a cheesy way, you know, just in it's part of me. Like
Mhm.
it's like I just always wanted to know everything that I could know
Mhm.
about it. I'm fascinated by people. I'm
Mhm.
fascinated by how we all have different relationships. We are all our own unique individual people that come into these relationships. And if we're talking about a couple that comes in, it's like I always say I'm the detective.
Mhm.
Like it's like
Love that.
I'm there to solve this mystery, to really get to know each individual person, and then to figure out, you know, what's not working, how can we make it better, and why isn't it working,
Mhm.
you know, and then to help them be open and honest and raw with each other.
That's so important.
It is, and people don't realize that.
Yeah.
I just, from my heart, words can't even really explain how much joy I get from helping people. And it sounds so cliche.
No, that's how I feel.
Okay, so you got it.
I
You
get
got it.
so much joy, like every day. That's all I want to do all day long is help people, and that lights me up. It makes me feel complete.
Yes. It's energizing. It's fulfilling. If you ever did the Enneagram,
I didn't.
you should do it. You're probably a 2. I'm a 2 on the Enneagram, and we're the helpers. The next guest. Hi, guys. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, there's something called a sacred yes. And I would say that being a relationship therapist is a sacred yes
Mhm.
for me. I could do other things. I just don't want to. Like, it just fulfills me. I could be a singer because I love singing.
Yeah. Oh my God, you have such a beautiful voice.
Thank you. I'm working on it. But I'd say singing is my second passion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So we have to wrap up soon, but
so you're living in your purpose, which is such a beautiful thing. I mean,
yeah, and it feels really good. And I just love that I'm expanding. You know, like I've always felt like I want to share what I have to share with more than the people just on my couch. And so now this is so wonderful that I get to have this medium, you know, like this platform to do that. And I want to thank you so much for being here in my debut show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Jamie Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.